Hi everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Cricket. The other night I kind of experimented at a quick homemade type dinner roll, and my family loved it and they were soft, had a good taste to them, so I'm going to be making them again. This recipe is just a one rise. We're going to mix it all together, cut them into rolls, put them in our pan, let them rise, and then bake them. So there's not going to be no let it rise, punch it down, put them in bowls, in rolls, then let them rise again, just one rising. So let's get started. If you're not using instant yeast that you can just mix dry with your flour, you'll need to proof your yeast first. We're going to be using 1 cup of warm water. Just take your water, put your yeast in there and a little bit of your sugar, and let it proof for around 5 minutes or until it gets foamy. But I'm using the instant that I can just mix with the dry ingredients. And we're going to need around 4 cups of flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but I'm using bread flour. I like the texture of how it makes them. So we're going to need around 4 cups, but I'm not going to start off with 4 cups. I'm going to start off with around 3.5 cups. 1, 2, 3, and then a half. Now I'm going to take my dry ingredients first and mix it together. Alright, I have 1/2 cup of sugar, that's a 1/2 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Going to add that in there. And then I'm going to need 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, or if you're using the packages, it's around about 2 packages. 1.5. Now I'm just going to mix that together. Now I have a 1/2 cup, that's 1 stick of melted butter. And I let this melt and let it sit for just a little bit where it wouldn't be scalding hot. And then I have 3 eggs that I let set out and get to room temperature. 3 large eggs. And then I have 1 cup of warm water. See, I can stick my pinky finger in there. It's not cold, it's not burning my finger. Just pour that in there. Since we're not using the paddle attachment, I'm going to give this a quick whisk. And then we're going to put the dough hook on and let it finish working. I'm going to put my dough hook on low. It's on 2. And we're going to let this mix till everything gets incorporated for around 5 minutes, and to see if we need to add any more flour, and then I'll be back. And it really depends on what type of day you're having with the humidity and stuff. And I can tell I'm going to need the rest of the flour, and I might even need a little bit more. So I'm going to add a 1/2 cup, turn it back on, let that get incorporated real good, and then I'll be back to see. You don't want it real dry, and you don't want it real sticky. You want it kind of just right. And I'll show you kind of what I mean by that. Did y'all see that? That's a whoopsies. Kept wondering why it was making a noise. I didn't have my bowl locked in. Alright, now that I'm embarrassed, I'll be back. I know you can't see down in the bowl real good, but it's still not coming away from the sides. And it's still real sticky at the bottom, so I'm going to add around a 1/2 cup, and that should do it. And I'll bring you back if it does, or even if it don't. Okay, this is still gathered. It's not really coming away from the sides, and it's still real sticky. So I'm going to add around another 1/2 cup. Hopefully that will do it. And I did let that blend for about 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So I'm gonna let this mix for another 5 minutes and then I'll bring you back. Okay, this looks good. It's coming away from the sides, coming off the bottom. It's still just maybe just a tad bit sticky, but I'm gonna let this go for about another 5 minutes and then we'll take it out and knead it till it comes together. Alright, as you can see, I've got my little pile of flour right here to dust my board with, because this still is just a little bit sticky, but we're going to bring it together. And that's there for me to dust my hands with, and my hands are very clean. I'm just getting it off the mixer. I let that go for about 5 minutes, and now we're just going to bring it together. See, it's not that bad sticky. You just don't want to get it so dry. Now I'm going to dust my hands, sprinkle a little on top. And we're going to knead it for a few minutes till it comes together and it's elastic. Don't add a lot of flour to it. Just add enough to keep it from sticking. I'm even going to wipe some of this away and just sprinkle a little bit more if you need it. And my table's cleaned and I have it lined with plastic wrap. That makes for easy cleanup. This already feels good. It's springing back. And now you just want to cut them in whatever size rolls that you want. They can be small rolls or big rolls. And I have this is a 13.5 by 9.5 inch cake pan that I've lined with foil and I sprayed with non-stick spray. You can use whatever size pan. You want to use a large one because it does make a lot, and it does depend on the size that you make them. And remember, they're going to rise too. I love playing with dough. You dust my knife. Gonna go in half. Then in half again, and then just, let's see, I'm going to cut this piece in thirds, okay, and just kind of pull, bring it to the center. I probably should have let this rest for about 5 minutes because it's so elastic. But that's good. Bring it up and close the bottom. And then I roll it in my hand. I cut my hand like this, cut this, and just kind of roll them together. And there's my one roll. And I'm going to give them enough room in my pan where they have enough room to rise. It don't matter though if once they've risen that they're touching each other. Just kind of gather it all up. And I'm not the best bread maker. Still learning. Put that part right here. And as you can tell, they're just a tad bit sticky, but it's not really sticking to me. So let me get mine rolled out and then I'll bring you back. See my big old rolls? Now I did mine large. You can do yours smaller and set them closer together. And I had that much dough left over. The last time I made mine smaller and filled the whole pan. But you could go ahead and, like I say, make them smaller and make more rolls. Now I just left that like that because I wanted to split the top to see what it would do. I like experimenting. Now I'm going to lightly spray the tops with some non-stick cooking spray. That way when we cover them with plastic wrap, it doesn't stick. And you're going to want to set these in a warm, dry-free place for 60 minutes to an hour and a half, or until it's doubled in size. So you could try to, last time I did mine where I would have the full 90 minutes to let mine rise. And it took the full 90 minutes. And then they were done. By the time I cooked them for around 15 or 20 minutes, they were done at dinner time. I'll check them in an hour, but really they can go the full 90 minutes. And then I'll be back. We'll preheat our oven to 375 degrees. If you want to let them rise in your oven, when you get ready to preheat your oven, just remember to take them out. You don't want them in there while they're preheating, or while your oven's preheating. Look how pretty. It's been over an hour and a half, but look how pretty this bread has risen. And it's real hot here today, still like 100 degrees. It's what, September the 4th? Still like 100 degrees. And look at my rolls. So I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. Carefully remove your plastic wrap because you don't want your rolls to deflate. That's why we sprayed them, to keep this from sticking. It depends on the size of your rolls, but I'm going to go for 15 to 20 minutes until they're good and golden brown on top. But I'll bring you back when they get done. And I've already made my sweetened butter, so I can't wait. And here's the rolls hot out of the oven. Now mine are big, like there's my hand, but you can make them any size. And I have the loaf part in the oven because I'm cooking some other stuff for supper. So I'll bring you back to show you it, and then when we try them. Okay, we're going to try a roll. They've cooled enough where we can handle them. See, I made mine big. And they're real soft. I don't know if you can tell that on camera, but they're like real soft. So now I'm going to try a bite. Richard's in here going to try a bite. I like them, and I love how the bread flour does. And I'm going to try a little bit with my sweet butter.
Yep, excellent.
I could just eat this.
Yep.
So anyway, we're going to have a surf and turf dinner tonight. Ricky and Alex eat the surf, and me and Nikki might eat a little bit of the turf. I'll show you how that big piece of bread looks, but I won't cut into it until it cools. And this is the big leftover. I don't know how it's going to be. I probably won't do that no more with this, only with sandwich or loaf bread. But it's still a be good. So thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Subscribe if you haven't already. And give me a like if you like this video. And I want to thank all of my subscribers. You all are great. Love you all. Bye.